change of scenery.
Some bands sold millions of records, packed arenas, and dominated the charts for years, all while critics scratched their heads wondering how it happened. Here are 12 overrated bands that, by all rights, should have flopped. Number 12. The Doors.
Faces come out of the rain when you stray.
Lester Bangs wrote extensively about Jim Morrison, painting him as both a fascinating figure and a drunken poet propped up by myth. It was harsh, but not uncommon. Light My Fire hit number 1 in 1967, yet the band had no bass player, a vocalist with a narrow range, and a catalog held together by Ray Manzarek's hypnotic organ work. Their recording career with Morrison lasted barely over 4 years, 6 albums, and an early grave.
Hello, I love you, let me jump in your game. She holds her head so high.
Yet Morrison's death at 27 cemented a legend that outweighed the music. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted them in 1993. Rolling Stone ranked them among the greatest bands of all time. For many critics, though, they remain the ultimate case of mythology doing the heavy lifting.
I'm gonna love you till the heavens stop.
Number 11. Kiss.
I wanna see it in your eyes.
Over 100 million records claimed worldwide, though the actual figure remains disputed. Over 3,000 officially licensed product categories, from lunchboxes to caskets to Kiss-branded condoms. Gene Simmons built an empire on fire-breathing, blood-spitting theatrics and a brand that treated music as just one revenue stream among many. Simmons himself put it plainly, "I wanted to be in the music business, emphasis on business." Rolling Stone had a contentious relationship with the band throughout the 70s and 80s. Critics called the songwriting repetitive, the musicianship basic, and the stage show a distraction from both. Yet none of it mattered. The makeup, the pyrotechnics, and the merchandising machine made Kiss virtually critic-proof. They proved that spectacle could sell more records than substance ever would. Number 10. The Eagles.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Their greatest hits. 1971 to 1975 holds the title of best-selling album in American history. 40 times platinum, the first album ever to reach that milestone. Hotel California alone is certified 28 times platinum in the United States. In the mid-70s, no band dominated FM radio quite like they did, blending country rock with polished studio production that practically defined the term corporate rock. The harmonies were pristine. The edge was non-existent.
Take it to the limit one more time.
Punk musicians openly despised them. Critics called their music background noise for dentist offices, the sonic equivalent of beige wallpaper. The famous line from The Big Lebowski landed because millions already felt the same way. Massive success and genuine backlash have followed them in equal measure ever since.
And your smile is a thin disguise.
Number 9. U2. 22. Grammy Awards. Over 170 million records sold. The 360-degree tour grossed $736 million, making it the highest-grossing concert tour in history at the time. By every measure, they were one of the biggest rock bands on the planet. But somewhere between the Joshua Tree and the 2000s, Bono's crusading persona began, overshadowing the music entirely.
There's one need in the night, I said, born to love.
The tipping point came in 2014, when Apple force-loaded Songs of Innocence onto 500 million iTunes accounts without consent. The backlash was so fierce that Apple had to build a dedicated removal tool. It became the defining symbol of a band that had stopped asking whether people actually wanted what they were offering. Generous hearts, tin ears for public sentiment. Before we continue, which one so far do you think deserved their success the least? And be honest, did you actually enjoy any of these bands back in the day? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Number 8. Oasis. In 1994, Britpop was a cultural revolution, and two brothers from Manchester planted themselves right at the center of it. Liam snarled into microphones. Noel wrote anthems. Together they sold over 75 million records and made Wonderwall the most overplayed acoustic song in pub history. Definitely, Maybe and Morning Glory were massive. The attitude was enormous. The originality was borrowed. Noel Gallagher openly acknowledged lifting from the Beatles, T-Rex, Bowie, and others. Cigarettes and Alcohol lifted its riff straight from Bang a Gong by T-Rex. He was even successfully sued by Neil Innes over the melody of Whatever. The Gallagher brothers were always more famous for fighting each other than for pushing music forward. Number 7. Foreigner. Atlantic Records had a gold mine. 80 million records sold on a formula so precise it practically came with an instruction manual. Mick Jones and Lou Gramm delivered arena rock that was engineered for maximum radio play, and songs like Feels Like the First Time in Cold as Ice became FM staples throughout the late 70s. Then came I Want to Know What Love Is, released in late 1984, complete with the New Jersey Mass Choir on gospel vocals. It hit number 1 in both the US and UK by early 1985. Robert Christgau called their work calculated and anonymous. Foreigner never pretended to be revolutionary. They found a formula, wrote it to the bank, and never looked back. Sometimes that is all it takes. Number 6. Styx.
I'm not a robot without emotion. I'm not what you see.
The night Mr. Roboto debuted on MTV in 1983, the band's identity crisis became impossible to ignore. What started as a promising prog-adjacent rock outfit had slowly transformed into a theatrical spectacle, with Dennis DeYoung steering the ship toward Broadway-style excess. The song peaked at number 3 on Billboard, but critics and bandmates alike winced at what the band had become. Tommy Shaw wanted to rock. DeYoung wanted concept albums and costumes. That creative feud eventually tore the band apart and led to lawsuits that dragged on for years. Yet, by the time it all collapsed, they had already sold 54 million albums. The damage was done, the checks had cleared, and the fans had moved on. Number 5. Starship. The band behind the worst song ever recorded, according to Blender magazine. We Built This City topped the Billboard Hot 100 in November 1985, and critics have never let it go. Rolling Stone readers later voted it the worst song of the 1980s, a synthesizer-drenched anthem about rock and roll authenticity that contained absolutely none of its own. The cruelest part is the lineage. This band descended directly from Jefferson Airplane, one of the most respected psychedelic acts of the 1960s. Grace Slick went from White Rabbit to this. Jefferson Airplane became Jefferson Starship, which became simply Starship, shedding credibility with every single name change. The transformation remains one of rock's most painful downward spirals. So far, some big names on this list. Which one surprised you the most? Did you have any of these albums sitting in your collection back in the day? Let us know in the comments and tell us where you're watching from.
We can build this thing together, standing strong forever.
Number 4. Peter Frampton. Before the breakthrough, he was a respected guitarist who had paid his dues with Humble Pie and toured relentlessly. Then Frampton Comes Alive dropped in 1976 and became the best-selling album of the year. A talkbox gimmick and perfect timing turned a journeyman into a superstar seemingly overnight.
Ooh, baby, I love you.
The fall was just as sudden. His follow-up album, I'm in You, released in 1977, sold a fraction of its predecessor. Then the disastrous Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band movie in 1978, co-starring the Bee Gees, flopped at the box office. Frampton went from everywhere to nowhere in barely 2 years. 8 times platinum for the live album, and then silence.
Yes, she gave me the love that I never had.
Number 3, Hootie and the Blowfish.
You up here and I didn't notice what I should do, so I sat back down.
21 million copies sold in the United States. Cracked Rearview became one of the best-selling albums in American history when it dropped in 1994. For roughly 18 months, Darius Rucker's warm baritone was inescapable on every radio station, every MTV rotation, and every college dorm room in the country. The numbers were staggering. The music was aggressively pleasant. Critics struggled to explain the phenomenon. The songs were competent but unremarkable, described as toothless and generic by more than one reviewer. The backlash came fast, and by the late 90s, they had all but vanished from the mainstream. Rucker later found more credible success in country music, winning a Grammy for Wagon Wheel and scoring multiple #1 country hits, proving the voice was always better than the vehicle. Number 2, Bay City Rollers. In 1975, the British press crowned them the biggest band since the Beatles. Tartan scarves, cropped trousers, screaming teenage girls blocking traffic outside concert venues. The Scottish five-piece from Edinburgh was a manufactured pop phenomenon, engineered almost entirely by manager Tam Payton, who controlled everything from their wardrobe to their set lists. Saturday Night hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in January 1976. The musicianship was secondary, and everyone knew it. Roller Mania burned white hot for roughly 2 years, then collapsed just as quickly. Payton was later disgraced, and the band spent decades battling over royalties they claim they never received. The frenzy was real. The talent behind it remains one of pop music's most generous exaggerations. Number 1, The Monkees.
Cause I'm leaving in the morning and I must see you.
Producers Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider needed a television show to compete with the wave of Beatlemania sweeping America. So, in 1965, they placed an ad in Daily Variety and The Hollywood Reporter seeking 4 insane boys for a new series. The result was a band built entirely from a casting call, not from a garage. Session legends like Glenn Campbell and Carol Kaye played on their early records, while the group lip-synced on camera. It should have been a forgettable novelty. Instead, they had 4 consecutive #1 albums. Davy Jones, Mickey Dolenz, Michael Nesmith, and Peter Tork became genuine pop culture icons. Nesmith himself later admitted he fabricated the famous claim that the Monkees outsold the Beatles and the Rolling Stones combined in 1967, calling it a lie he made up during an interview. The statistic has been repeated by major outlets ever since. They were never supposed to be real. Somehow they became unforgettable.
There's a girl I know who makes me feel so good.